On behalf of the University of Strathclyde, I would like to welcome you to the Barony Hall for this Congregation for the Conferment of Degrees. This is a day of celebration for you, our graduands, your families and friends, and the staff of the university. We extend a particular welcome during our graduation ceremonies to our students who've taken distance learning courses or studied at our overseas hubs. Some of you may be visiting this campus for the very first time, and we're delighted to have you here today. These events are sometimes known as commencement ceremonies, as they signal that they mark a beginning rather than the end, and it's in this spirit that we celebrate graduations at Strathclyde. In a few moments, it will be my privilege to cap each graduand. The capping ceremony has ancient roots as a public rite of passage, a mark of achievement. For each of our graduates, it's a sign they are part of a proud tradition of world-changing scholars at Strathclyde, stretching back to the Scottish Enlightenment. I hope you enjoy the ceremony. I now declare the congregation open and invite Professor Rob Martin to introduce our students.
My Lord and Chancellor, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Engineering for research in the Department of Physics, James Brooks. Dominic Hunter. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for research in the Department of Physics, Mariam Sarah Akhtar. Matthew Morris Blutow. Craig James Picken. Lewis Ramsey Reed. Jorge Yago Malo. For the degree of Master of Science in Nanoscience, Pradeep Kumar Sharma. For the degree of Master of Physics in Physics, Callum Ballantyne. David James Campbell. Stuart Cuthbertson. Daniel Alistair Hunter. Lorne Magnus James Rutherford. Dale Mark Waters. James Campbell Brown. Emily Louise Bruce. Elise Annette Blythe Burns. James Jackson. Ellis Kelly. Jake Nicholas McCallum. Kieran Kevin McCrory. David Eric James Webster. Sam McClaverty. Connor McLean Moyar. In Physics with International Placement, Rachel Cannon. Alan McWilliam. In Physics with Specialization in Complexity Physics, Jack Edward Stevenson. In Physics with Specialization in Nanoscience, Elliot Christopher Doak. Daniel Mark McClure. Dawn Elena O'Hare. In Physics with Specialization in Photonics, Stephen Anderson. Stuart Anderson. Sean Bomber. John Allen Vincent Percival. Philip Andrew Scott. Rachel Joy Stephen. Ewan Cameron Wade. In Physics with Specialization in Quantum Optics, Daniel Martin Geddes. Alexandros Kenanis. In Physics with Specialization in Solid-State Physics, Alistair Earle. Ben Salmond. For the degree of Master in Science in Biochemistry, Liam David Butler. Rhys Foy. In Pharmacology, Caitlin Elizabeth Cogan. James Alexander Gray. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics, Alan Christopher Bragazzi. Ewan James Dollier. Yin Hong Liu. Matthew Lewis Mitchell. Kyle Hugh Richford. Kyle Shaw. Darius Stuhlgar. Bailey Conn. Ewan Alexander Cutting. Sophie Downs. Innes Alistair George Green. Thomas John Hannaway. Louise MacDonald. Callum Thomas Quinn. Craig Andrew Sinclair. Zhanghu Wang. Zora Anwar. Gary Archibald Dixon. Ross Cunningham Fraser. Ewan Andrew Gavigan. Mark James Grant. Ian Harley. Jordan Wistuba. Ewan Macmillan Farley. Stephen Forrest. Graham Edward Duff. In Physics with Teaching, Graham Saunders. Rachel Louise Curtis. Stuart David Kurth. Robert Stewart. Robert James McLean. In Biochemistry and Immunology, Angelika Bita Kiapas. Owen Walker. Lucy Cameron. Rhys Hammock. In Biochemistry and Microbiology, Adriana Bizio. Andrei Rastika. In Biochemistry and Pharmacology, Caitlin Barron. Laureen Therese Regine Broek. Louise Helen Brown. Agata Strunzova. Sabrina Begg. Anna Elizabeth Cooper. Lauren Elizabeth Eaglesham. Bethany Farmer. Brendan Dermot Forte. Bobby Graham. Caris Georgia Hasty, Ailey Fiona Jack, Sean Lorimer, Cara Leanne McDougall, Dion Miller, Katie Ann Peden, Zainab Zubair Ahmed, Pablo Chisbert Baron, in immunology and microbiology, Chloe Louise Allison, Tanith Hart, Cassandra McGregor, Sean Paul Brannan, Anya Breen, Emily Caldwell, Jack Owen Mitchell, James Peter Alexander George Murphy, Zara Tayob, Francis Berryman, Abby Milton Hassan, Chloe McAdam, Emma McLennan, Kerry Holborn Symington, in immunology and pharmacology, Stephanie Brown, Emma Jane Cunningham, Carl Dean Drown, David Early, Ryan McEwen, Jane McInnes, Logan Mackey, Caitlin McLaughlin, Jennifer Richmond, Olivia Steele, Rabia Ahmed, Cara Helena Burns, Sean Carlton, Hannah Cooper, Shelby Coyle, Amy Dara. Declan Gallagher. David Gartshaw. Robin Abigail Hope Herriot. Rachel Mary Kelly. Kia Lang. Peter Daniel McDougall. Katrina Lois Martin. Robert James Massey. Salma Abdi Mohammed. Amy Fiona Muir. Khadija B. Rafiq. Amy Elizabeth Robinson. Behnaz Sarafraz. Lynn Sawyers. Seha Ul-Nisa Wahid. Emily Jane Wallace. Benjamin James Cornelius. Iona Gisby. Kaylee Isabella McIntyre. Rebecca Lauren McLaughlin. Mark Murray Musil. Rebecca Ann Robertson. Gergely Sharkozy. Ross Ferguson. Scott David Ratcliffe. In microbiology and pharmacology, Christopher George Scholes. In biomedical science, Laurie Gordon Bryce. Audrey Chong Kwan Lin. Michelle Magdalene Nichols. Gillian Tom. Emma Marie Chapman. Lucinda Rose Cutler. Amy Nicole Keane. Emma Kennedy. Theodore Harry McKinnon Medal. Melissa Miller. Caitlin Muirhead. Ikra Freeman Quadri. Harry J.D. Richardson. Heather Louise Ritchie. Erin Valentine. Carla Elise Walker. Megan Elena Watt. Hannah Louise Waters. Ellie Holland. Hannah Ellen Thompson. Seema Ijaz. In microbiology, Amy Catherine Shaw. Saif ul Haq. Lindsay Geegan Thompson McCallum. Darren France Scobie. Bethany Louise Koufax. Jack Morris Allen Curry. Jason John Dick. Megan Ann Gavin Inas. Ruth Nelson. In biological sciences, Stuart Cook. Evelyn McAllister.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, but most of all, our graduates, as we can now call you, it's a real pleasure to welcome you here to the Barony Hall, one of the jewels of Strathclyde's crown. I'd like to begin my address today by congratulating you, our graduates, once again on your academic achievements. Your hard work has paid off, and it's been recognised in front of your families, friends, and indeed the staff who taught and supported you during your time here. We know just how much work you've put in to be here today, and you can all feel justifiably proud. All of you have displayed determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. And all of you have taken a huge step toward realising your dreams. And today, in these magnificent surroundings, we celebrate your achievements. Well done. That's one of the longest applauses I've ever witnessed. Well done. In just a few minutes' time, you'll be asked to join the academic procession as it makes its way down the aisle. This invitation symbolises the fact that you're no longer students, but full members of the academic community of Strathclyde. It's an important moment for you all. The class of 2019 is graduating at a time of considerable global change in Scotland, in the UK, and internationally. There's no question that challenges lie ahead. But as members of the Strathclyde family, you belong to a large and ever-growing worldwide community which has shared ethos of tolerance and understanding and a desire to make a positive difference. So whatever dreams you're pursuing in life, remember you possess the most valuable assets anyone can have in today's world: knowledge, the ability to innovate, and the capacity to use your talents for the good of society. As graduates of this socially progressive university, you have a competitive advantage, having been equipped with the skills, the know-how, and life experiences to positively influence and shape the world around you. You know, in Scotland, we are fortunate in having a higher education system that's the envy of the world. Our country rightly invests in education for all. Education broadens the mind. It creates opportunities for individuals and for societies. And as Strathclyders, we carry a sense of duty to use what we've learned wisely and for the good of others. The desire to make a positive impact in the world comes naturally to graduates of this university. We only have to look at the achievements of those who've gone before us for inspiration. To John Anderson, our founder, who established this university for the good of mankind. To the missionary and explorer, David Livingstone. To John Logie Baird and Lord Reith, whose work in television brought us visual marvels that they could hardly have dreamed of. And in present day, we look to Dame Eilish Angiolini, a pioneer in Scottish justice, as the country's first female Solicitor General and later its first female Lord Advocate. To Baroness Helen Liddell, former Secretary of State for Scotland and UK High Commissioner to Australia. To Baroness Annabel Goldie, former MSP and leader of the Scottish Conservatives. And to Sir Tom Hunter, philanthropist and one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Scottish history. Now, I'm sure you've received lots of advice on how to make the best of your lives. Some of it you will rightly ignore. Some will stick with you, but most of it you're going to have to learn for yourself. To reach this point in your lives today, each of you will have travelled a different journey. For some, the path will have been relatively easy, for others more difficult. But I'm certain of one thing: none of you would be here without the active support of your family, supporters, and friends. They've picked you up when you've been down. They've encouraged you when you needed it, and they're here to support you once again today, proudly watching as you cross the stage with broad smiles, the odd tear in their eye, and one or two loud shouts I noticed as well. They are celebrating with pride because you carry with you their hopes and dreams, their confidence that you can make this a better world. For the past half hour or so, their applause has rung in your ears. I'd like to invite now our graduates to show their appreciation for the support of their family, supporters, and friends. Now, we will actively keep in touch with you through our alumni and communication teams, and I would ask you to please keep in touch with us. We would love to hear about your achievements as you progress through your lives and careers, and we look forward to hearing from you again. The advice and guidance given by our alumni helped to provide the first-class education and student experience that you had at Strathclyde. I now ask you think of those who will follow in your footsteps. Now, I touched earlier on some of the key figures who have helped to create the University of Strathclyde. You can tell an awful lot about the values of an organisation by looking at its roots. Strathclyde traces its lineage back to 1796, when Anderson brought it into being. It was the only Scottish university founded in the Enlightenment and embodying Enlightenment principles of reason, tolerance, and equality. Anderson believed in useful learning, And his commitment to taking knowledge and using it for the greater good is the motivating force which gives Strathclyde its momentum today. In many ways, he was ahead of his time, as he advocated back in the 18th century the education of both men and women of all classes. Today, this vision is as important as ever, and as a socially progressive university, we want our students' talent to be developed to the highest level, and we want the talent pool to be as wide as it can be. We now have targets for recruiting students from disadvantaged areas where, historically, few people have stayed in education after leaving schools. We have met and indeed exceeded these targets, enhancing our diverse and vibrant student community. We have many initiatives aimed at ensuring that ability and willingness to learn and not personal circumstances determine access to university. We are, and always will be, an international university. Our staff and student community is drawn from more than 100 nations, and we have alumni and partners on every continent. This ensures our outlook, knowledge, and experience are broad. It's exactly the shape a successful university should be. We're a place of innovation, seeking breakthroughs that will address the most urgent challenges facing the world today. New and effective medicines, purposeful approaches to tackling climate change, new technologies to meet the imperatives of a rapidly changing world, manufacturing techniques for in-demand products, informing policy that addresses much needed insight into the complex political, economic, and social issues. All of this, our groundbreaking research, our first-class teaching, our productive relationships with external partners, goes into the experience we offer students. As a result, we've produced over the years many highly qualified, high-caliber graduates, and many more are joining them here today, some already taking their places in their chosen professions. We continue to strive to enhance that student experience, investing in our campus and creating facilities like the recently opened Strathclyde Sport Building to support the fitness, health and well-being of our staff, students and wider community. And we had the pleasure of welcoming another inspirational figure, Olympic rowing gold medalist Dame Catherine Granger, to carry out the official opening. Well, many of you will also have helped to shape the plans for our under construction learning and teaching hub at the very heart of our campus through your feedback and ideas. This building is going to be the new base for our Students' Association, and will have all the facilities our students need to get the very best from their time at Strathclyde. I'd like to thank you for helping create this important legacy. And so too has it been a year to celebrate for the faculty. Dr. Christine Dufayes of the Strathclyde Institute of Pharmacy and Biomedical Sciences has found a new seek and destroy gene therapeutic system which could have the potential to treat prostate cancer in the future. And in laboratory models at Strathclyde and the Beatson Institute, a system was used against 2 types of prostate tumour, causing 70% of one type and 50% of the other to vanish over the period of 1 month. And it gives a promising start to a system to help tackle the 4th most widespread cancer in the world. It's been a fascinating year for Faculty of Science research more generally, which has touched on areas including artificial intelligence, quantum technology, heart disease, physical activity, E. coli, digital surveillance, and gravitational waves. And a vaccine given to schoolgirls in Scotland to protect them from cervical precancer has almost wiped out the disease, according to research involving Strathclyde. The study of the vaccine against human papillomavirus, oh dear me, papillomavirus has found, you can see I haven't got a qualification on this subject now. It's found a reduction of nearly 90% in cancer-causing virus since the treatment was brought into Scottish schools a decade ago. And Professor Gail McConnell in physics was one of the 7 current Strathclyders named as Fellows of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Particles travelling through empty space can emit bright flashes of gamma rays by interacting with the quantum vacuum, according to a new study by physics researchers at Strathclyde. And 2 Strathclyde Institute of Pharmacy and Biomedical Sciences projects exploring links between heart disease and other conditions have received funding from the Heart Research UK. Prevention of heart disease and cancer payments is being investigated in research by Professor Robert Plevin, and another study of possible links between hip replacements and heart disease is currently being led by Dr. Susan Curry. That is why our graduates are so highly prized by employers looking to recruit the best talent to drive their organisations forward. That is why world-class companies are investing in Strathclyde. And that is why we're leading research in energy, health, manufacturing technology, business and policy. And we're providing new recruits to many professions, including healthcare, engineering, business, teaching and law. Our success is in no small part due to the collective talent, effort and commitment of our staff, the 3,900 colleagues who are pulling together to deliver one vision, a leading international technological university. Like me, they are very proud of your achievements. I know that the class of 2019 will demonstrate the power of useful learning. I know that you will make your dreams come true. And I know that you will make a difference to the world in which we all live. Thank you. And while I go and brush up on my pronunciation of long words, I now formally declare this congregation for the conferment of degrees closed. I'd like to invite our graduates to join the academic procession. Would family and friends please stay behind until the procession has left the building, and then please join us in the Lord Todd building for refreshments. Thank you.